Mardigrass.
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 Why aren't you putting the double S on it? It's not the Sydney event, it's the Nimbin Mardigrass.
It certainly is. You were a stockbroker, so how did you go from the stockbroking world into this world?
I started thinking, I was basically just helping Swiss banks get richer. So I left London, bought an old police van with mates and drove overland all through the Middle East into Afghanistan. And in Kandahar, a guy put me on the end of a hookah and fully hallucinating. So that was pretty instrumental, changed my life. The inequality between us super rich in Australia and most of the planet who, never gets a bank account, mostly don't know where their feed's coming from. That got me thinking. And along the way, I discovered the drug war.
Unleash.
Well, look, I am known as a very passionate sort of advocate for change because I do not agree that we should be begging for the little incremental things that they're doing. Canberra, you can grow a plant, but no, you can't have a seed. You can carry some cannabis, but only this much. You can have friends come around to your house, but you can't share your cannabis with them. We're talking about human rights for human beings.
How does it feel, Michael, now that finally there's some recognition for what this plant can do? We're now moving towards the American approach to legalisation in Australia, perhaps. Is it frustrating that you've spent so long to get it to this point?
Yeah, sure, attitudes have changed. The stigma's dropping away, We're not nuts. Clearly it is real medicine. They admit that now. But that you're not allowed to drive and that we're not allowed to grow a few plants is like, we're way behind, aren't we? We're just sort of stuck back there.
A couple of questions?
Yeah, all right. For a television station or radio station?
It's called altmed.com.au.
I'd like to see weed legalised in New South Wales, in fact right across Australia. I'd like to see everybody who's presently in jail due to cannabis-related offences to be set free, just like they were in Thailand. So think of all the money we could save, and our government's saying, we've got $1 trillion debt. A lot of that could easily be recovered by legalising cannabis.
Now, in Victoria alone, 3 out of every 10 adults is recognised as a recreational regular cannabis user. Now that's the ones that said yes in the survey. The ones that said no, even though they do smoke because they're doctors or they've got professional jobs in the law and so forth, you've got to add another 1.5. So that takes us up to 4 out of 5 out of 10. Then you look to the people that smoked when they're younger and they gave up. That's another person as well. So we're now 5.5 people out of 10. Then you look to the people that realise there's no harm in cannabis and go, you know what? The laws are a bit harsh, and they want change as well, and that's actually 2 out of 10. So right now, 7 out of 10 people want these laws to change, and we're getting thugs with guns saying, no, we like them the way they are, because as they are, we get to treat you like you're nothing.
The smackdown stats. How are the cops been so far here at Mardigrass?
Well, they're waiting outside a stall down there now to hassle some guy because he had a mix on the table. I think I heard last night they hassled the skate park, had a fundraiser. There's no trouble here. It's frustrating that they are so full on driving. The driving laws are just shocking, and there's no other country on the planet being like this at all. So, and we're making no headway getting anyone to listen either.
If we were to replace the prevalence of alcohol with marijuana and we could go back in time, how do you think society would be different?
They'd think more. They'd think more and be more calm and, more spiritual, whatever. I think, alcohol okay in the right amount, but all the cops will tell you all the problems they have here are alcohol related. Nothing to do with weed, really.
So what's your favourite thing about weed?
I think probably the mental effect. Like for me, it's really calming. Sometimes I liken it to a muddy pool, and you smoke weed and the water clears or it all settles. So with me, it was boarding school. I got traumatised at boarding school. So that was PTSD, and I think probably the most common reason for people using cannabis is early childhood trauma, anxiety, depression. I like how it settles things down, gives you a bit of detachment, helps you to see clearly.
Next year, we can only make it stronger and better, and one day they are going to decriminalise this special herb for us.